Good afternoon and welcome to Shining Waters Yoga Therapy. This is the third class in our series for chronic low back pain. Just a few reminders before we get started. Remember, this series is not meant to replace any doctor-recommended therapy or other treatment for your back pain. It is also not a prescriptive treatment. In yoga, we don't look at back pain in that way. So everybody's different, as we've been discussing in the other previous classes. Your back pain may be different from my back pain or the next person's back pain. So as we move through this series, please be mindful, move slowly, and take care of yourself. If a movement doesn't feel right for you, don't do it, skip it. I highly suggest that you start with the first class. The series is moving somewhat progressively. In the last class, we did some standing poses and we started getting into core work, and we'll do a little bit more of that in this class. The first class is the most gentle and the most basic, and it's a class that I myself go back to again and again when I'm having acute back pain. I have herniation in my lumbar spine, and that's the class that I continually go back to. So it's not like you do that one and you're done. Hopefully, if you don't ever have back pain again, maybe you are done. Otherwise, I highly recommend you start there. As we progress, I'm going to add some more core work today, because oftentimes when we have back injuries, it's from overuse sometimes of our back muscles and and having weak core muscles. So it's a good idea to start to strengthen, especially our transverse abdominis and our oblique muscles. But again, that's not where you want to start if you're experiencing back pain right now. So take a look at the other classes and then join me for this one. And again, you might pick and choose which practices you want to do for each class and make your own class out of that. So without any further ado, let's get started. Props for today: if you have a strap or a belt, a dog leash works, a scarf, have that nearby. And if you don't worry, do without. There's no props. This is going to be pretty prop minimal. If you like to use blocks, you can have them. If you want a blanket, that's could be helpful for your head, especially near the end. And then I'm sitting on a block right now in Vajrasana. So if you want to sit this way on your knees to start with our breathing, you might want to sit up on a block with a block between your feet. You may not need it. And if this posture is not comfortable for you, then just go ahead and feel free to start in a chair or even lying on your back with your knees bent. We're going to transition there momentarily anyway. But I want to start with a little bit of breath work. So let's just start with a simple belly breath, one hand or both hand on the belly, just to be present and mindful of the breath in your belly. Soften through your shoulders, lengthen through your spine. You might close your eyes or soften your gaze and just start to draw your attention inward. Feel your breath expanding your belly on the inhale and softening on the exhale. Breath in the lowest part of your lungs. And as you become present with your breath, see if you can even out the inhale and the exhale. Samavriti, the even breath. So maybe breathe in, 2, 3, 4. Exhale, 2, 3, 4. Breathe in, 2, 3, 4. Breathe out, 2, 3, 4. Now some of you might breathe for a longer count or a shorter count, doesn't matter. Just aiming for that evenness of breath. And the next time you exhale fully, we'll move our awareness and attention into the middle part of our lungs, maybe taking your hands to your rib cage, breathing in, 2, 3, 4. Breathe out. 2, 3, 4. You can even have the hands a little more on the sides if it's comfortable. Try not to strain through your shoulders. Become aware of the flow of breath in your body. And at the end of your next exhale, let's move up all the way to the top of the lungs, the highest lobe. Maybe placing the tips of your fingers on your collarbones, softening through your elbows and your shoulders, and breathe in. 2, 3, 4. Breathe out. 2, 3, 4. Again, find your rhythm of breath. And see if you can feel the breath all the way up to your collarbones. At the end of your next exhale, place one hand on the belly and one hand on the chest with the fingertips touching, at least one of the fingertips touching the collarbones, and we'll breathe into the belly, into the ribs, into the chest. As you exhale, soften the belly, soften the ribs, soften the chest. Feel the movement of your spine with your breath. And become present with your natural rhythm. So you might be breathing a little faster or a little slower than me. This is going to set the tone and the pace for your practice. And then again, at the end of your next exhale, release the hands. We're going to transition and come onto our backs with your knees bent and your feet hip-width apart. And if you need a little extra support under your head, you can place a folded blanket there. But we're going to start much the way we did in the very first class in our series. So placing now the heels of your hands at the tops of your thighs, right where your thighs meet your hips. And go ahead and exhale all your breath out. On your next inhale, press into your thighs. Come to that 3-part breath all the way up to the collarbones. Exhale, belly, ribs, chest. Release the press in the thighs. So when you're in breath, press into the thighs, breathe into your belly, into your ribs, into your chest. As you exhale, release the press, soften the belly, the ribs, and the chest. Breathe in. 2, 3, 4. Breathe out. 2, 3, 4. 2 more rounds of breath at your own pace. Last one. Exhale fully. On your next in-breath, release your arms overhead. Reach overhead. Let the backs of your hands come down to the floor. Nice, full, expansive breath. As you exhale, go ahead, draw your knees into your chest. Rock a little bit side to side. And then straighten your legs up to the sky and flex your feet, just stretching the backs of your legs. We're going to come into a little core work where we lift one leg at a time, but this is just a little precursor, stretching both the legs, and then we'll bring our feet back down. So from here, if you are comfortable with it, go ahead and extend both legs on the floor, and we're going to lift the right leg. However, because we're talking about back pain, you might want to keep your left knee bent, left foot on the floor. We're going to start with the right leg. So let's try it that way first. Arms at your side. We're going to start to build core here, core strength. As you inhale, you're going to lift that right leg up. 2, 3, 4. Move with your breath, nice and slow. Pause at the top. Exhale, lower the leg. 3, 4. Come all the way down. Again, same leg. Inhale. 2, 3, 4. Exhale. 2, 3, 4. Now, if that feels like too much on your lower back, another option is to go ahead, inhale. 2, 3, 4. Exhale. 2, 3, 4. Draw your knee into your chest and straighten the leg. So if you can't lift it from the low leg to the high, you can bend your knee in and then lower. So feel that core work as you lower the leg, draw the knee back in. This is more like a one-leg bicycle. If that feels a little easier on the back, you can start there and then work towards the leg lift, the full leg lift. Exhale. 2, 3, 4. And then draw your knee into your chest. Extend the left leg away from you. Breathe. And we'll replace the left leg with the right. So right foot on the floor, right knee bent. We'll do the same thing on the other side. Inhale, lift the left leg up. 2, 3, 4. Exhale. 2, 3, 4. Inhale. 2, 3, 4. Exhale. 2, 3, 4. Again, if this feels like a lot on the lower back, you can bend your knee, draw it in, and then extend, and just work on lowering the leg. And you're going to feel this in the lower belly. You'll still be starting to get a workout. Bend the knee, extend, and slowly, slowly take your time lowering that leg. If you're okay with it, so you'll start working up to being able to lift your leg straight without bending the knee. Pause at the top and exhale back down. Let's do one more. Inhale, lift that leg up. Exhale back down. And then draw your left knee into your chest, extend your right leg, give it a little squeeze. And we reach through that right leg. Nice stretch for the lower back. And then release your left foot down. We're going to go ahead and grab that strap. We're going to go through our whole little hip series today. So we did one of these, I think, in the last class. We're going to draw the left knee in and place the strap around the ball of your right foot and start to extend it into Supta Pada Gustasana. So you want to find a straight leg here. As you draw the leg in towards you, if you start to bend your knee, go ahead and extend the leg. Find where can I extend my leg comfortably and still be drawing it in. The more you draw it in, if you're really tight in the hamstrings, again, your knee's going to start to bend. So find where can I release my hamstring. Where, if it means taking your leg a little farther away, that's fine. You can turn your toes out slightly, your heel in. Stretching the back of that leg. You want the strap up on the ball of your foot. Those of you that don't have a strap, again, remember you can use a scarf, a towel, a belt, a dog leash. If you have nothing and you're able to interlace your hands around your leg, you could do that. Now, some folks can't bring their leg this close. So that's where it's really super helpful to have the strap. And we're going to do several movements with the strap today. Another option is extend your left leg. That's going to increase the stretch, so be super mindful of that. Take a few more breaths here. I'll check my notes. Remember what else I want to do. Okay. So this little series in and of itself can also be really great for a variety of things, for runners and bikers. If you want to stretch after you work out. You might feel if you have tight glutes. So from here, we're going to start to extend the leg out to the right. But as we do that, taking it out any amounts, and you might even want to move it back and forth a little bit before you do that. So we haven't really warmed our hips up too much yet. Let's go ahead and draw your left knee into your chest. So I'm drawing my left knee in as the right leg comes out the side. And that's going to keep my hips a little more even, so I don't feel like I'm putting pressure on the SI joint. If that feels like too much, again, back off. Your leg might not be as wide as mine. This is a hip stretch, so be mindful of that. You can also, if you prefer to use a block, you can place a block underneath the thigh, the outer leg. And that can help keep your leg lifted so you're not struggling so much to hold it up. Try to keep the upper body relaxed. Deep breathing into the belly, into the ribs, into the chest. And exhale and soften the belly and the ribs and the chest. And then release that left foot back down. Start to draw the right leg back up. We're going to go the opposite direction. Take it across the body now. Here, I find it easier to go ahead and extend the left leg. Start to draw the right foot across the body just until you feel sensation. So you don't have to take it way across. We're not coming into a big twist here. Thinking more about stretching the IT band. I like to place my right hand right in that hip crease to keep myself from hiking the hip up. Feeling a deep stretch here in the gluteal muscles. Breathing into the belly, into the ribs, into the chest. And exhale, belly, ribs, chest. And you can hold it a little longer if you wanted, or go ahead and release, come all the way back up. Release your strap, draw that knee in one more time, give it a nice squeeze. And we'll switch sides. So bring your right foot down, draw your left knee in. We're gonna strap it up, place the strap around the ball of your foot. Start to extend that leg, turning the toes out and the heels in. Heel in, rather. Go ahead and hold your strap with one hand if you can, or you can use both hands. Start to straighten your right leg if you want to go a little bit deeper. Remember, that's a little more sensation. Find where you can comfortably hold a straight leg. And I'm not bending my knee into my chest. Feeling for that stretch in the hamstring muscle. We did this one in the last series, Supta Padangusthasana. Breathe. And again, the more you're on the ball of the foot rather than the strap, you don't want to be way down here. If you come up on the ball, it's going to help you flex your foot. You get a little more stretch in the plantar fascia, the muscles around your ankles, and then in your calf muscle as well. But don't overdo it. If anything feels like too much, you can release, back off a little bit. Focus on that 3-part breath. You might even feel a little release after several breaths. And try not to grip your strap too much, relaxing your upper body. When you're ready, we're going to start to take that leg out to the side, but as we do that, we're going to draw that right knee into the chest and also a little out to the side. You might be able to see better on this side. So just keeping the SI joint or sacrum in a nice neutral position as you open that left leg out to the side. You can hold this leg with the right leg with the right hand if you like. And after a few breaths, you might feel a little bit of release. We'll go ahead and bring the right foot back down. Start to draw the left leg back up. Now we're going to take it across the body, but it's a little easier if you can extend the right leg here. Start to take that left leg across any amount. I like to use my thumb here and sort of press, or even the heel of the hand, and press into the hip crease. And once you do that, usually it's going to stay. So you can go ahead and hold your strap with whichever hand is more comfortable. Coming back to your 3-part breath. Notice if the breath is still even. When our breath starts to speed up, that's one sign. Maybe we're working a little too hard or something's happening here. On an in-breath, come all the way back up, bend the knee, draw the knee into your chest, release your strap. Place that someplace out of your way. Draw both knees in, rock a little bit side to side, releasing that low back. And we'll gently start to roll over onto our side. Come all the way onto your belly. We're going to find that Sphinx pose where the elbows are under the shoulders, palms face down, legs are about hip width apart. And then imagine that you're drawing the front of the mat toward you, so you're lengthening through your spine. As always, if you're feeling compression in the low back and the lumbar spine, just go ahead and come down, take a rest here. Forehead on the back of your hands and pause. So we're going to try a little core work here, coming into forearm plank, or the prep work for forearm plank if you're not quite there yet. So again, we don't want to injure the back. We want to strengthen our bellies so that our back is not carrying weight it shouldn't be. Imagine, again, drawing the front of the mat towards you. Hug your outer ankles in, so engaging your leg muscles, looking forward, lengthening through your spine. As you exhale, start to draw your belly up and in. See if you can lift your hips up. And then you might slowly lower them back down, real slow. Be mindful of the back. And inhale, look forward, lengthen your spine. As you exhale, draw the belly in. See if you can lift your hips. You might tuck your toes. You might be able to lift your legs up and come into that forearm plank. This is what we're working towards. You may not be there yet. That's okay. You can leave the knees down. Slowly lower. Don't let yourself come into sway back. Untuck your toes. Look forward. Back to the Sphinx pose. Inhale. As you exhale, engage those belly muscles. One more time. Lift up. Maybe you're here just lifting the hips, or maybe you're even just trying to draw your belly in, feeling for that. Maybe you can tuck your toes and come to the forearm plank. Breathe. And then slowly, slowly lower back down. From here, go ahead and rest. Stack your hands, rest your forehead. Excuse me, wiggle the hips side to side. Breathe. And release your hands when you feel ready, down by your sides. We're going to work towards Shalabhasana today. So finding a position here that's comfortable for your head. Maybe you turn to the side. Maybe it's the forehead down. Relax the elbows down away from your ears. Palms are face down. As you inhale, keep pressing down to the tops of your feet. Lift just your head and your chest. Feel for that. Notice how that feels. Be mindful of the lower back. Shoulders down the back. Exhale and come back down, turning your head if you like. Inhale again, lift the upper body. Look forward, not jutting the head way back. Keep the legs engaged. Press down through your pelvis here. Then exhale, come back down. Try one more of those. When you're ready, inhale, start to lift your head, your chest, shoulders down the back. Exhale, come back down and rest. Over time, as you build up your strength, you can try that with the arms extended. When you're in breath, lifting up, head and chest, pressing down through the feet. Arms extended overhead, press down through the pubic bone. And exhale and come back down. Breathe in and breathe out. Now we're going to try some single leg lifts here, just as we did on the other side. Find a comfortable position for your head. So again, you might just keep your hands stacked and your head down, or you might be okay with looking forward. Think more about lengthening your leg rather than lifting. So we are lifting, but think more about the length and the height right now. In fact, you can pick one leg up and lengthen it, and then the other. So find your longest legs, maybe wiggle your hips a little side to side. So from here, we'll start with the left leg. As you inhale, lift your left leg any amount. Use the full breath and exhale and lower. We're going to alternate on this. On your in breath, lift your right leg any amount. Then exhale and lower. On the in breath, lift your left leg. You can leave your head down. I'm lifting up because I think you can hear me better if I lift my head. And exhale back down. And inhale to lift the right leg. And exhale down. One more time each side. Inhale, lift the left leg. Any amount. Think about length. Exhale down. And inhale with the right leg. And exhale back down. Pause here. Rest if you need to. Even if you don't need to, you need to. Rest is good in between. So next we're going to try lifting the legs, the arms by your side. And I'm going to give you a couple of different options. So on the in-breath, again, the forehead can be down or the head to the side. On the in-breath, lift your left leg any amounts. Exhale it down. And then lift your right leg any amount. And exhale it down. Another option is to turn the palms face up and place them at the tops of your thighs. And you can try this way, inhaling both legs up, looking forward. And exhale back down. You can lift the head up too to give yourself a little space here. So inhaling, lifting the head a little bit, lifting both legs. And exhale back down. We'll try one more. Inhale, lifting your head, look forward, lift the legs. And exhale down, rest. Go ahead, stack the hands, rest your forehead. Wiggle the forehead a little bit side to side. Again, stimulating that yin tang point, the point at the center of the brow. Wiggle the hips a little bit side to side. And then as you feel ready, we're going to roll over onto our side. Let's come to the side. Get a little side plank in today. So for side plank, really important that your elbow is in line with your shoulder, or maybe just slightly ahead. And then the first version, we're going to keep our legs stacked with the knees bent. And I like to actually, the forearm should be parallel with the front of the mat. I like to actually place my left hand down to start. You can actually use that to help you lift. So we're strengthening the muscles around our spine and our oblique muscle here. When you're ready, we want to lift those hips up. So One contraindication here, be really mindful if you have an elbow injury, this is not going to work. You're not going to try this one today because we're going to lift the hips up and we're going to be on that forearm. So lifting hips up. Once you're up, you can also extend that left arm all the way up. And this is where you're going to start. And then slowly lower the hips down and place that hand back down. You can pause and maybe do that for 2 more lifts. Inhale, lift the hip, lift the arm. And lower back down, bring the hand down, pause. If you need to take a break off this elbow, you can do that. We'll do 1 more lift. Now, option, as you get stronger, you can do this with straight legs. When you're ready, lifting the hips up again. You can use this hand to push off a little bit in the beginning and then lift up. Hold, work up to maybe 10 seconds, maybe eventually to 15 seconds. And then lower back down, and let's pause. Roll over onto your belly, take a break. Breathe in, and breathe out. Now remember, you might not be in the straight leg. You may not be doing straight leg today. You might work with just bent knees for now. So rolling onto the other side. I'm switching around so you can see me, but you could just roll to the other side. Again, begin with the forearm is parallel to the front of your mat, elbow in line with your shoulders, legs are stacked. We'll start with knees bent. Remember, we're aiming to lift the hips up. So think about when you're ready, lifting hips up, engaging those oblique muscles, and then reaching your arm. And feel the muscles that are working to do that. As you exhale, bring the hips back down. Again, when you're ready, using your oblique muscles, lift your hips up, extend the arm to the sky, pause. Make sure you're not rolling over onto your knees. Keep your hips stacked and come back down. So lastly, I'll show it extended. You can do it either way. If you feel okay with extended, make sure that your hips, again, aren't rolling forward or back. Rooting down through your forearm. When you're ready, inhale, lift the hips. Reach the arm, coming into that side forearm plank. Mindful that you're not caving into the shoulder. Working up toward 10 seconds, maybe eventually 15 seconds. And then roll back over. Let's pause in our Sphinx pose. Wiggle the hips side to side. Breathe. And exhale. Maybe come all the way down. Slowly walking your hands underneath your shoulders, push down to lift up, and let's come into some tiger breath. So inhaling, arching, looking forward, and exhaling, drawing the belly toward the spine. Inhaling to arch and look forward. Exhale, draw the belly in. Inhaling, arching, looking forward. Exhale to draw the belly in. As you feel ready, come back to a neutral posture. Option here, if you want to take a downward facing dog, spreading the fingers wide, rooting down to the base of your index finger and thumb, tucking your toes. On an inhale, look forward. As you exhale, draw your belly to your spine, start to lift your knees up. Maybe you come into downward facing dog, straightening your legs, lifting the hips high, and sinking the heels back and down. If downward facing dog is not for you, just come to rest in Dharmaka Asana, hips to the heels. Might be nice to just rest and pause here. So either way, we are going to come to stand for just a couple of postures, and then we'll come back down onto the earth. So as you feel ready, you might just step one foot forward and then the other, or you can come up through your downward facing dog, walking your hands to your feet, bending your knees, keep those hips low. Walk your hands to your thighs and come up with that flat back. Come to stand. Bringing the feet about as wide as your mat. We'll do a little empty coat arms, releasing the muscles around our spine, letting the arms swing side to side, letting your back heel come up. So you're actually pivoting on that back foot. And then walk those feet a little wider. So let's come into Utthita Tadasana, the wide leg mountain pose. I want to give a little stretch for those of you that have a little issue with muscles between your shoulder blades and the spine. Sometimes it gets tight up in there. So two things we're going to do, a forward fold and a twist. You might need blankets. You might need blocks here or a chair. A chair can work too, where if you can't quite reach the floor with your hands, you're going to use your blocks or your chair. I'll actually show it with the chair as well. Let's do that first. So from wide leg stance, I'll show it from the side. Remember, we want to come forward with a flat back. Inhaling, lifting your heart as you exhale, hinging forward from the hips. Always hinging from the hips, not rounding from the spine. You might bring your hands down and pause there. Maybe even shifting your hips a little side to side. From here, you might be able to come down onto your forearms. A little bit deeper stretch. And then remembering those of you that maybe get dizzy from bringing your head below your heart, you're going to stay with the head lifted, in line with the heart or a little bit above the heart. Those of you that are able to come all the way down to the floor can just bring your hands to the mat. Again, you can also use your blocks here. Let your head hang. If you're okay with the inversion, maybe gently shaking your head no. I like to also shift my hips side to side. Like this nice stretch in the low back and this wide leg version of our forward fold. Now from here, we're going to take a variation and come into a twist. So those of you that cannot come down and place your hand flat on the earth are going to use a block. And again, remember, our blocks have different heights. And you're going to place it so that your hand is pretty much, my wrist is kind of in line with my nose here. So we'll start with the right hand down. Remember, it can be any height for your hand. Or you can also use the chair. And on an in-breath, I'm going to take this left arm out to the side. We'll start to twist, but don't overdo it on your shoulder. Start to lift up. Exhale, draw your belly in. Also be mindful about how much weight you're putting on this bottom hand. And then as you exhale, bring that hand back down. Pause and center. As you feel ready, we'll switch sides, placing the left hand to the block. As you inhale, reach the right arm up to the sky. Of course, if you can reach the floor, then you don't need the block. Try not to drop this left hip too much. Try to keep it pretty level with the other hip. Be mindful of the angle of your shoulder. Again, with your neck, you may not want to look up. You might look to the side or even look down. And then exhale that hand down. Wiggle the hips side to side. Nice and slow. So we'll do one more version here. You can just repeat what we just did. So we'll go back to right hand down and lifting the left arm up. Or if you're able to, keep this left hand down. Walk it forward a little bit so you make some space and reach your right arm through, maybe catching the outer left shin. And imagine drawing it towards you. You can even bend your elbow. Take that stretch. Should feel really good in your back. If it doesn't, then repeat the version that we just did. Nice little twist. And then release it. We'll go to the other side. So again, you can repeat what we did before with the left hand down and the right arm reaches up in the twist, or keep right hand down. I know it's a little confusing. Walk that right hand forward and the left arm will reach underneath and see if you can grab the outer right shin. So both options are a twist
The difference is that we're using this opposite arm, the left hand, actually grab onto your shin, even bending your elbow if you can to get a little deeper stretch in the muscles between that shoulder blade and the spine. And hold it for a few breaths. And then releasing back to center. Pausing here. So this might feel super good on your back. If it doesn't, hopefully you came out of it already. We're going to slowly come up, bringing your hands to your hips or out to the side. I like to take it to the hips. Inhale, slowly come up with a flat back. Slow, slow, slow. Come all the way up. Exhale, hands to your heart. And then you might, just for fun, want to take the toes out and the heels in for a little bit into our temple pose, Devyasana. So just feel for that. Little pulses a couple of times, just pulsing the knees. And imagine sitting straight down. So keeping your chest or your shoulders, really. Think about shoulders in line with your hips. I'm not leaning forward or sticking my booty out. Just kind of going straight down. So feel for that. Don't go too far if you have any knee issues. Gently keeping your core engaged. And you might even reach the arms up and exhale. You can even take a lion's breath, sticking out your tongue. One more. And inhale, because it feels good to do that. Exhale, hands to your heart. Turn your toes forward. Step your feet back in and just shimmy it out. You might come back and do another round of empty coat arms. I don't know about you, but I already feel better. My back is feeling pretty good right now. So we're going to come all the way back down onto the ground. You can really come down any way you want. Some of you might even use a chair and gently come down to kneel and then shift your hips to the side. So from here, let's come on to our backs today. And you might want a support for your head, maybe. So a little blanket could be nice. From here, letting the arms come out to the side. We're going to take the knees over. We'll do the left first, since that's what's facing you. And imagine that you're laying on the face of a clock. So we're going to do a little bit of shoulder release. But this is also nice because we're twisting into the muscles around the side of the back here. So knees to the left, I'm lying on the clock face. So 12 o'clock is up here, 6 o'clock down the bottom of my mat. And then we have 3 o'clock and 9 o'clock with the arms. So my right arm is going to make a circle around the clock. The left arm is just going to stay where it is. And we're going to start going down. So we're going to take that right arm down towards the feet. And then turn your palm down. You're going to sweep it across your body. You can even let it maybe even touch the floor behind your head. And then it's going to rotate so that the palm is up again. So palm is up. Take it back to, what is that, 12 o'clock, 6 o'clock? I guess that's 9 o'clock over there. I'm bad at telling time. 3 o'clock, 9 o'clock. So you're going to take that hand down to the 6 o'clock. Turn the palm down. Sweep it across your body, over your head. It's going to flip back to palm up and over to your 9 o'clock. I guess it depends on how you're looking at the clock. So we're only going in one direction. We're not going up overhead. We're going down towards 6 o'clock. Turn the palm down, sweep it across the body, and then take it back to the starting place. Now we're going to add one more thing on here, and that is a head turn. So we're going to turn our head in the opposite direction of the arm. So as your right hand comes down, turn the palm down. It's going to start coming over to the left. We're going to turn our head to the other side to look over your shoulder. And then take that arm over your head. As it comes back to the starting position, turn your head back to the left. Does that make sense? Take your hand down towards 6 o'clock, over to 3 o'clock. Turn your head to 9 o'clock. Arm comes overhead. We're going to turn back to look at 3 o'clock. Arm comes back to 9 o'clock. Gosh, that's a lot to say. Let's do that one more time. So you're circling your arm on the face of the clock. Turn your head the opposite direction. Come overhead and bring that arm back down. And relax. So doing like maybe 5 or 6 of those. Relax the shoulder on the floor. Rest here in your twist. And we'll take our time shifting for the other side. So shift your hips back to the center. We're going to take both knees over to the right now. I'm going to stay, even though I'm facing away from you, because it might be helpful to see my left arm this time. So imagine you're lying on this clock face. 12 o'clock, 6 o'clock, 3 o'clock, 9 o'clock. I'm going to take my left hand now, and I'm going to go downward. So it's going to go down towards 6 o'clock, palm face down, over towards 9 o'clock. When I get to 12 o'clock, I'm going to turn my palm up again and bring it back to 3 o'clock. That makes sense. So bring the arm down, palm face down at 6 o'clock, palm face up at 12 o'clock, back to 3 o'clock. Let's add the head if we can. Take the hand across the body down. As it comes over to 9 o'clock, look over your shoulder, bring it up to 12 o'clock, back to 3 o'clock, and then turn your head towards your right arm, or towards, 9 o'clock. Hand comes down, palm turns down at 6 o'clock. Turn your head in the opposite direction of your arm. Inhale the arm overhead and turn your head back. So it happens in kind of a continuous motion. You're turning your head as your arm crosses the body and turning it back again the next time your arm crosses. Let's try that one more time. It might be helpful to just watch me first and then do it. Let's do one more circle. Big arm circle. Now, if you have a rotator cuff injury, now that we finished it, I'm going to tell you, be mindful of that. So this open shoulder might be too much. So it's nice range of motion if you don't have a shoulder injury, but if you do, then be mindful. It can help to release shoulder pain, but again, we want to move slowly, move cautiously. And then come back to center. Draw your knees in, rock a little bit side to side. And guess what? We're ready for relaxation today. So this is a shorter class. Let's go ahead and grab some props for relaxation. If you want maybe a bolster or a couple pillows under your knees, a blanket under your head. You might want a blanket to cover with. Eye pillow, whatever you like. Go ahead. Get comfortable. Check in with your low back. Most importantly, we want to make sure the back is comfortable. Take a few breaths to settle in. Let your head be heavy on the earth. Make sure your legs are comfortable, your hips and your low back. Soften through your shoulders, soften through the jaws. Breathe into the belly, ribs and chest. Exhale and soften the belly and the ribs and the chest. Find your rhythm and flow of breath. And once you start to soften in, releasing tension in your body, see if you can add some pauses between the in-breath and the out-breath, and the out-breath and the in-breath. So if you breathe in, 2, 3, 4, hold the breath for 2, exhale, 2, 3, 4, hold, 2. Inhale, 2, 3, 4. Hold for 2. Exhale, 2, 3, 4. Hold for 2. Now, if you can extend that breath a little bit longer, you might be able to breathe in 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Pause for 2, 3. Exhale, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Let's do it again with the pauses. Inhale, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Hold the breath in. 2, 3. Exhale. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Hold the breath out. 2, 3. Repeat. Whichever cycle feels more comfortable for you. If you have a 4-count breath, pause for 2. If you have a 6-count breath, pause for 3. If you can extend it to 8 counts, you can pause for 4. Rhythmic breathing. Notice how the even rhythmic breathing helps the body rest, settles the mind and the body, and restores the functioning of all your organs. You might feel like resting here for a little while longer, or you might be ready to transition. So when you feel ready, take a deeper breath in. Feel your whole body filling with breath, with prana, with vitality and energy. And as you exhale, release any lasting tension, any pain, any stress from the body. Let it go. Take another deep, full breath in, extending your feet, extending your arms. And as you exhale, start to bring some movement back in. Wiggle your toes, wiggle your fingers, circle your feet if you like. Start to draw your knees in, maybe pushing the props away, and just slowly making your way over onto your side. Make sure you support your head with something, a pillow or your arm. Take a moment to pause there on your side. And then slowly, when you feel ready, when you feel grounded, start to walk yourself up with your hands. Let your head and your neck be the last things to come up. We'll come back to a comfortable seat, Sukhasana, or you could sit in Vajrasana, or even come back to your chair. Notice how your head and your neck and your shoulders feel. Let's bring our fingers together in Hakini Mudra, All the fingertips touch as if you're holding a little ball or a globe in your hands. And then just resting your hands, resting your shoulders, resting your elbows. Take a moment to check in and notice how you feel. Notice if anything has shifted or changed in your back or any place else in the body, the mind, or the breath. And then as you feel ready, bring the hands to the heart, taking a breath in to lift your heart. And then exhale to bow forward. Honor yourself for taking this time to take care of yourself. Thank you for joining me. Until next time. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Peace be with you.